The first time Olivia Hart saw Adrian Vale lose control, he did not raise his voice. He simply stood in the middle of his private San Francisco gallery while firelight crawled across the marble floor, his black coat soaked from the rain, his expression carved from something colder than rage. Behind him, men screamed behind locked bronze doors. In front of him, Olivia stood barefoot on broken glass, clutching the torn remains of a small childhood painting no one in the world had ever cared about. No one except him. The painting had been simple: a crooked blue house, a yellow sun, a little girl holding her mother's hand beside the ocean. Olivia had painted it when she was 7, before her mother disappeared, before every good thing in her life became something fragile enough to destroy. It had hung forgotten in a shadowed corner of Adrian Vale's private gallery, surrounded by priceless Rembrandts, stolen Renaissance panels, and sculptures insured for more than most cities. Then Victor Serrano's men broke in. They did not destroy the famous art first. They found Olivia's painting. They laughed, and one of them dragged a knife through the center of the little girl's face. That was when Adrian Vale walked in. For 3 seconds, nobody moved. Then he looked at Olivia, not at the $500 million collection, not at the shattered alarms, not at the rival cartel men holding blades near priceless canvases, only at her shaking hands. "Who touched it?" he asked quietly. No one answered. Adrian turned to his men. "Seal the exits." Olivia whispered his name. But he did not look away from the men who had laughed at her pain. Victor Serrano smiled from across the gallery. "You're going to start a war over a child's painting?" Adrian's eyes darkened. "No," he said. "I'm ending one." Minutes later, the sprinklers were disabled. Gasoline shimmered across polished stone. The rival men realized too late that Adrian Vale did not threaten. He decided. Olivia stood in the rain outside as flames swallowed the gallery. The priceless collection, the cartel's arrogance, and the last illusion that Adrian Vale was only a dangerous man. He was something worse. He was a man who had found the one thing he could not bear to see broken. And now, everyone in San Francisco would burn for touching it. 3 months earlier, Olivia Hart lived above a failing frame shop near Clement Street, where fog pressed against the windows every morning like a ghost asking to be let in. She restored damaged paintings for museums that underpaid her, collectors who never remembered her name, and wealthy families who spoke about art as if beauty were only another form of money. Olivia preferred damaged things: cracked varnish, smoke stains, torn canvas, water damage, forgotten portraits with scratched-out eyes. There was honesty in ruin. It never pretended to be whole. Her life was quiet, careful, and lonely by design. She bought groceries after midnight to avoid crowds. She never dated men who asked too many questions. She kept 3 locks on her apartment door and a small suitcase packed beneath her bed, though she told herself it was only because earthquakes happened in California. Then the black envelope arrived. No return address. Inside was a single card. Vale Gallery. Private Restoration Commission. 1 week. Name your price. Olivia almost threw it away. Everyone in San Francisco knew the name Vale. Adrian Vale owned hotels, ports, restaurants, security companies, and rumors. His family had survived federal investigations, gang wars, political scandals, and assassinations whispered about in North Beach cafes. People said he never smiled. People said he never forgave. People said the last man who betrayed him vanished from a yacht party and was never found. Olivia should have refused, but attached to the card was a photograph of a damaged painting. Her breath stopped. It was a portrait of her mother, Evelyn Hart, young and beautiful, seated near a window with a pearl comb in her dark hair. Olivia had not seen that face in 20 years except in dreams. On the back of the photograph, someone had written, "Restore this, and I'll tell you where it came from." The next night, a black SUV waited outside her building. The driver did not step out. He only lowered the window and said, "Miss Hart, Mr. Vale does not like to be kept waiting." Olivia looked up at the rain sliding down the windshield. Then Mr. Vale should learn patience. The driver blinked. For the first time in his life, someone sent Adrian Vale's car away. 20 minutes later, Adrian came himself. He stood beneath her apartment, awning in a black wool coat, rain silvering his shoulders, his face calm in a way that frightened her more than anger would have. He was tall, controlled, beautifully dressed, and surrounded by the kind of silence that made the street feel suddenly empty. "You refused my car," he said. Olivia held the door, only half open. "I refuse strange men who summon women at night." His eyes moved over her face, not rudely, not softly, but with unsettling attention. "I sent a professional request. You sent bait." For one breath, something flickered in his expression. Fascination. Then it vanished. "You recognize the woman in the portrait." Olivia's fingers tightened on the door. "Where did you get it?" "Come restore it?" "Tell me first." No. She should have slammed the door. Instead, she stared into the rain and realized Adrian Vale already knew the answer to a question she had spent her life trying not to ask. What really happened to her mother? The Vale Gallery sat beneath a private mansion in Pacific Heights, hidden behind steel doors, biometric locks, and guards who watched Olivia as if her hands were weapons. The underground space was impossibly beautiful. Marble floors, black velvet walls, museum lighting. Paintings arranged like secrets, waiting to confess. And Adrian Vale at the center of it all. He did not hover, but he was always there, watching from the far end of the room, speaking into his phone in Italian. Standing behind glass as Olivia worked beneath white light on her mother's portrait. "You collect stolen things?" she asked on the third night. "Recovered things," he said. "That sounds like something rich criminals say." "It is." She looked up. Adrian's mouth did not smile, but his eyes warmed by one dangerous degree. Olivia hated that she noticed. The portrait was badly damaged. Someone had slashed the canvas years ago, then tried to repair it with cheap adhesive. The wound ran across Evelyn's throat. Every time Olivia cleaned another layer of grime from her mother's face, she felt watched by the dead. On the fifth night, Adrian found her crying silently at the restoration table. He stopped, several feet away. Any other man might have offered comfort too quickly. Adrian did not. He placed a clean handkerchief beside her elbow and said, "No one will enter until you are ready." "I'm fine." "No, you're disciplined. There is a difference." Olivia looked at him then. Really looked at him. He was feared by everyone, obeyed by men twice his age, surrounded by money and violence. Yet there was a loneliness around him so complete it felt like architecture. "Why do you have this painting?" she whispered. Adrian's gaze shifted to Evelyn's damaged face. "My father had it before he died." "Was my mother involved with your family?" Silence. That was answer enough. Olivia stood so fast her chair scraped the floor. "Tell me." "Not yet. You don't get to drag me into your mansion, show me my dead mother's face, and then decide when I deserve the truth." His eyes hardened. "You are in more danger than you understand. I've been in danger my whole life. Men like you always think you invented it." For the first time, Adrian stepped close enough that she felt the cold rain still clinging to his coat. "I did not bring you here to harm you." "No," she said, voice trembling. "You brought me here because I'm useful." His jaw tightened. Then, very softly, he said, "That is what I told myself." The words stayed with her all night. 2 days later, Shots shattered the windows of Olivia's frame shop. She had been upstairs making tea when the first bullet came through the wall. Glass exploded. Wood splintered. Her lights died. She dropped to the floor as headlights washed across her ceiling, and for one terrible second, she thought her past had finally found the address. Then, Adrian was there. Not his men. Him. He kicked in the back door, crossed the room through dust and broken glass, and pulled her against the wall with his body covering hers. His hand wrapped around the back of her head. "Breathe," he ordered. "I am breathing. You're shaking. I was shot at, and you're still arguing." Another bullet tore through the window. Adrian's face lowered close to hers in the dark. "Stay behind me. I don't take orders from you. You will tonight." Outside, his men moved like shadows. Tires screamed. A car crashed somewhere below. Then silence came down hard. Olivia realized Adrian's hand was still at the back of her head, his thumb near her hairline, steady and warm. He realized it too. Slowly, he let go. But he did not step away. That night, he brought her to a safe house overlooking the stormy Pacific. It was all concrete, glass, black leather, and ocean darkness. Beautiful, cold, impossible to escape without his permission. Forced proximity. He called it security. Olivia called it kidnapping with expensive towels. Adrian gave her the bedroom and slept in a chair outside the door. She found him there at dawn, awake, one hand resting near a gun on the side table, his eyes fixed on the hallway, like he could intimidate the future into staying away. "You don't sleep?" she asked. "Not when someone wants you dead." "Why does someone want me dead?" His silence returned. Olivia laughed once, bitterly. "You know, for a man who controls half the city, you're terrible at conversation." Adrian looked up at her. "My enemies believe your mother left something behind." "What?" "A ledger." "Of what?" "Names, payments, murders, political protection. Enough to destroy families who have spent decades pretending they are legitimate." Olivia's throat tightened. "And you think I have it?" "I think your mother hid it before she died. Disappeared." Olivia corrected. Adrian's gaze sharpened. "What?" "My mother didn't die. Not officially. There was no body." For the first time, Adrian Vale looked truly unsettled. That afternoon, Olivia discovered the locked room. It was hidden behind a wine cellar wall, opened by a keypad she should not have known how to guess. But her mother's birthday worked. Inside were photographs, hundreds of them. Olivia leaving grocery stores. Olivia crossing streets. Olivia asleep at a cafe window. Olivia at age 19, outside art school. Olivia at 26, carrying canvases through the rain. Her life covered the walls. At the center was one photograph of her as a child, holding the crooked blue house painting. Olivia backed away, hand over her mouth. Adrian appeared in the doorway. His face changed when he saw what she had found. Not guilt exactly. Fear. "You've been watching me," she whispered. "I assigned protection. You stalked me. So your mother asked my family to keep you alive." "My mother?" Adrian stepped into the room carefully, like she was the dangerous one now. "She came to my father 20 years ago with evidence against the Serrano cartel. She begged for protection. My father promised it. Then betrayed her." Olivia's eyes filled. "And you knew?" "I found out after he died." "When?" Adrian did not answer. Olivia's voice broke. "When, Adrian?" 3 years ago." The slap echoed before she realized she had moved. Every guard in the hallway froze. Adrian did not touch his cheek, did not punish her, did not even blink. He only looked at her with something raw behind his restraint. "You let me live alone for 3 years while men watched me from cars. I kept them away. You kept yourself close." His silence was unbearable. Olivia pushed past him. "That night, She tried to leave. She made it as far as the foggy harbor before Serrano's men found her. They came out of the mist beside Pier 33, 3 men in dark jackets, polite smiles, no hurry. Olivia knew immediately they were not there to frighten her. They were there to erase her. A hand clamped over her mouth. Then, headlights flooded the pier. Black SUVs arrived like a storm. Adrian stepped out first. No shouting, no panic. Just a man in a black coat walking through fog as if death itself worked for him. "Take your hands off her," he said. The man holding Olivia laughed. "Victor wants her." Adrian's eyes settled on the fingers gripping her face. "I won't ask twice." The first shot came from the shadows. Adrian moved faster than Olivia could process. He pulled her behind him, his body jerking once as something tore through his shoulder. His men returned fire. The pier erupted into chaos, fog flashing white and red under gunfire. Olivia hit the ground beneath him. He shielded her with his injured body. Blood darkened his sleeve. She stared at it, horrified. "You're hit." He looked down at her, breathing hard, still calm. "Are you?" "No." "Then I'm fine." That was the moment Olivia understood. The danger was no longer only around her. It was inside her, because she believed him, because she feared him, because, when his hand trembled near her cheek but stopped before touching her, she wanted him to finish the movement. At the safe house, she stitched his shoulder because he refused a hospital. Rain battered the windows. His shirt lay open, his skin warm beneath her shaking fingers. "You should hate me," he said. "I'm trying. You're failing." She pressed the needle harder than necessary. He exhaled through his nose, almost amused. "Careful, Miss Hart. Don't flirt while I'm sewing your bullet wound." "I wasn't." "You were." His gaze lowered to her mouth, then lifted again with visible restraint. "I know what I am," he said quietly. "I know what being near me costs." Olivia tied the thread with trembling hands. "Then why won't you let me go?" For a long moment, only the storm answered. Then Adrian said, "Because the first night I saw you restoring that portrait, you touched the damaged part like it deserved tenderness. I have never seen anyone touch ruin that way." Her breath caught, he continued, colder now, as if punishing himself for honesty. "And because if you leave, they will kill you. And if I stay?" His eyes met hers. "Then I will become worse." The next morning, news broke that Senator Malcolm Reed had been photographed entering Adrian Vale's mansion. The scandal exploded across San Francisco. Reporters swarmed the streets. Olivia's name leaked by noon. Unknown restorer tied to Mafia art empire. Mystery woman. Inside Vale mansion. Possible heir to missing cartel ledger. By evening, Olivia could no longer return to ordinary life. Adrian arranged a fake public relationship to explain her presence and stop police from dragging her in as a witness. He took her to a charity auction at the Fairmont, placed a diamond necklace around her throat in front of cameras, and rested his hand at her lower back as if he had every right in the world. "Smile," he murmured. "I hate you. I know. You're enjoying this." "No." His thumb brushed once against the silk of her dress. "That is the problem." Across the ballroom, Victor Serrano watched them with a champagne glass in hand. He was younger than Adrian, prettier in a cruel way, with pale eyes and a smile that never reached them. He approached Olivia while Adrian was speaking to a judge. "My father knew your mother," Victor said. Olivia went still. Victor smiled. "She painted, didn't she? Little houses, little oceans, little lies." Adrian appeared beside her so quietly that Victor's smile thinned. "You are speaking to what belongs to me," Adrian said. Olivia's heart slammed against her ribs. Victor lifted his glass. "Careful, Vale. Obsession makes men predictable." Adrian's voice lowered. "Then predict this. Speak to her again, and your family mourns before sunrise." That night, Olivia confronted him in the mansion library. "I do not belong to you." "I know. You said it like you meant it." "I said it because he needed to believe it." "And did you?" Adrian stood near the fireplace, shadows moving across his face. "Yes." The honesty stole her anger for half a second. He looked away first. "I am trying not to." That was worse. The hidden truth arrived through a child. His name was Noah, 7 years old, dark-haired, quiet, living under an assumed name with a retired nurse in Sausalito. Olivia found his photograph inside Adrian's locked file, beside documents bearing her mother's signature. At first, she thought he was Adrian's son. The jealousy that cut through her was sharp and humiliating. Then she read the birth certificate. Mother, Evelyn Hart. Olivia staggered backward. Adrian found her on the floor, paper clutched in her hand. "You were not supposed to see that yet." "I have a brother?" His face tightened. "Yes." Olivia's voice came out small. "My mother was alive 7 years ago?" "Yes. You told me she disappeared 20 years ago." "She did. Then she resurfaced long enough to give birth and hide him." "Why didn't she come for me?" Adrian crouched in front of her but did not touch her. "Because coming near you would have led Serrano straight to your door." Olivia shook her head, tears slipping free. No, that's what people like you always say. That abandonment is protection." Adrian absorbed the words like a blade. "She loved you. You don't know that." "I have her letters." The room tilted. He took her to the gallery vault beneath the mansion. Inside a climate-controlled case were letters addressed to Olivia but never sent. Evelyn's handwriting filled the pages with apologies, warnings, love, and terror. At the bottom of the last letter was a confession. The ledger had been hidden inside Olivia's childhood painting. The crooked blue house, the yellow sun, the little girl, and her mother by the sea. Olivia went cold. "My painting?" Adrian's eyes darkened. "I had it moved into the gallery because it was safer there." "You knew." "I suspected. And you didn't tell me. If you knew, you would have tried to destroy it or run with it. Because it's mine. Because it can start a war." She laughed through tears. "You don't get it. That painting was the last piece of my childhood. You turned it into evidence." Adrian stepped closer, frustration breaking through his control. "I turned it into the reason you are alive." "No," she whispered. "You turned me into another thing you protect without asking." He looked as if she had struck him again. This time, he deserved it more. The attack came that night. Not at the safe house. Not at Olivia's apartment. At the Vale Gallery. Victor Serrano knew about the painting. He sent men through the old service tunnels beneath Pacific Heights during a private viewing meant to lure corrupt politicians into Adrian's debt. The lights died just after midnight. Security systems failed. Guests screamed behind sealed doors. Olivia was in the restoration room when the first alarm cut off. Adrian was upstairs. She heard glass break, then laughter. When she reached the main gallery, men in masks were dragging blades across canvases, smashing sculptures, pouring accelerant over artifacts Adrian had spent years collecting. But they were not searching for the Rembrandt. They were not touching the marble angels. They were gathered around one small frame in the corner, her painting. One of them held it up. "Is this it?" he called. Victor Serrano stepped from the shadows, smiling. Olivia froze. The man with the knife looked at the crooked blue house and laughed. "Half the city is bleeding over this." Then he slashed it. Once, through the sun. Once through the house. Once, through the little girl's face. Olivia made a sound she did not recognize. Not a scream. Something deeper. A child's grief torn open in an adult body. Victor turned toward her. There she is. The man dropped the ruined frame at her feet. Olivia sank to her knees among broken glass. And then the gallery doors opened. Adrian Vale walked in. His eyes moved from Victor to the torn painting to Olivia's hands hovering over the ruined canvas. The air changed. Everyone felt it. Victor smiled anyway. "You should thank me. I found your ledger." Adrian did not answer. He crossed the room slowly, ignoring the guns aimed at him, the priceless art burning in small patches, the men waiting for his reaction. He stopped beside Olivia. For one heartbeat, his hand hovered above her shoulder. Then he lowered it, not touching, asking without words. Olivia leaned into him. That was all it took. Adrian looked at the ruined painting, then at Victor. "Who cut it?" Victor laughed. "You're surrounded, Vale." Adrian's voice remained soft. "Who cut it?" No one spoke. Adrian turned slightly toward his men, who had appeared along the balcony like shadows. "Seal the exits." Victor's smile faded. "Don't be stupid. This place is worth $500 million. Adrian looked around the gallery. The collection, the legacy, the proof of power. Then he looked back at Olivia. "No," he said. "It isn't." Olivia understood a second before everyone else did. "Adrian," she whispered. His eyes softened only for her. "Close your eyes." She shook her head. "Please," he said, and the word sounded like it hurt him. His men moved with terrifying precision. Guests were evacuated through the east corridor. Vale guards dragged civilians out. Serrano's armed men were trapped behind locked security gates as fire suppression systems shut down one by one. Victor shouted threats. Adrian ignored him. He lifted Olivia carefully from the floor and carried her through smoke and shattered glass, her ruined painting pressed against her chest. Outside, rain fell hard over the city. Black SUVs lined the mansion driveway. Sirens wailed far below. Behind them, the Vale Gallery caught fire. Flames rose gold and violent behind the glass walls. Victor Serrano disappeared into the blaze of his own arrogance. Olivia stood in the rain, trembling. "You burned everything," she said. Adrian's face was streaked with ash, his expression unreadable. "They touched the one thing I told myself I could protect. It was just a painting." "No," his voice dropped. "It was proof that someone loved you before the world taught you to doubt it." Her tears mixed with rain, and the people inside. His gaze hardened again, distant and brutal. "They came to destroy you." Olivia stepped back, afraid of him again. And still, impossibly, aching for him, the fire became national news. Federal agents swarmed San Francisco. Politicians denied knowing Adrian Vale. Museums claimed missing artifacts. Reporters called Olivia the woman worth $500 million. Adrian vanished for 2 days. No calls, no messages, no black SUVs outside her window. For the first time since meeting him, Olivia was truly alone. Then Noah disappeared. The safe house in Sausalito was found empty. The retired nurse was alive but unconscious. A single note waited on the kitchen table. "Bring Olivia to Grace Cathedral at midnight. Come alone." Olivia did not wait for Adrian. She stole one of his cars. She made it halfway across the city before 3 black SUVs boxed her in. Adrian stepped into the street through the rain, furious in a way she had never seen. "You do not run toward men who want you dead. My brother is 7. "I know. You knew they took him? I found out 10 minutes before you stole my car. Then why are we talking?" His jaw flexed. "Because if I lose you both tonight, there will be nothing human left in me." The words hit harder than any confession. At Grace Cathedral, candles flickered against stone walls. Noah sat near the altar, small and pale, but alive, guarded by Serrano survivors, and one man Olivia had not expected. Senator Malcolm Reed, the public servant, the family friend. The man who had shaken Adrian's hand at charity events. The true buyer of Evelyn Hart's silence. Reed smiled sadly at Olivia. Your mother should have stayed gone. Adrian's men were hidden outside, but Reed had planned for that. Police surrounded the cathedral. Federal agents waited across the street. Every exit was watched. A perfect trap. Reed wanted Adrian to kill him publicly. A dead senator. A mafia boss with motive. Olivia discredited. Noah erased later. Adrian understood immediately. So did Olivia. For once, Adrian could not solve the problem with fire. Reed held up a small drive. The ledger survived the painting. Your mother was clever. Microfilm under the first layer of paint. My people recovered enough before Victor lost control. Olivia looked at Noah. The boy stared back at her with her mother's eyes. Something inside Olivia became still. She stepped away from Adrian. Give me my brother, she said. Reed smiled. And what will you give me? The truth. Publicly. Adrian's head turned. Olivia. She ignored him. You want Adrian ruined, she said to Reed. But he's not the story. I am. My mother was. The child you kidnapped is. You kill us here, you create martyrs. You let us walk out, you get to negotiate. Reed's smile faded. Adrian watched her with fierce, terrified pride. Then Noah moved. Just a small step. Enough. Olivia rushed forward as Adrian lunged between her and Reed's gun. The shot cracked through the cathedral. Adrian caught Reed's wrist before the second shot. The struggle was silent and brutal. Vale men flooded through side doors. Police shouted. Candles toppled. Olivia grabbed Noah and pulled him behind the altar, shielding his small body with hers. When it ended, Reed was alive, pinned beneath Adrian's knee, his own confession captured by a dozen hidden cameras Adrian had planted before entering. Olivia stared at him. You knew he would confess? Adrian breathed hard, blood on his collar from a graze near his neck. I hoped. You let me walk into that? His eyes burned. No. You walked in before I could stop you. Noah clung to Olivia's coat. Adrian looked at the child, and something in his face shifted. Not softness, not exactly responsibility. The federal scandal destroyed Reed by morning. The ledger fragments, Evelyn's letters, and the cathedral recording were released through journalists Adrian did not own, which was how Olivia knew he had changed. Not fully, not safely, but enough to let truth exist outside his control. Victor Serrano was gone. His surviving organization fractured. Reed's allies fled. The city pretended it had always known corruption lived beneath its clean marble buildings. Weeks passed. Olivia restored what remained of her childhood painting. Not perfectly. She refused perfection. The slash through the little girl's face stayed visible, repaired with golden thread in the Japanese style of honoring breaks instead of hiding them. The crooked blue house remained crooked. The yellow sun was scarred. The mother's hand still reached for the child's. Adrian came to see it at her new studio, overlooking the bay. He stood in the doorway, not entering without permission. A small change. Olivia noticed. You can come in, she said. He stepped inside slowly. No guards. No black coat. Just a dark suit, tired eyes, and hands that had burned empires yet trembled slightly when he saw what she had saved. It's beautiful, he said. It's damaged. Yes. She looked at him. He did not look away. Noah slept in the next room, safe for the first time in his life. Outside, San Francisco glittered beneath a clear winter sky, the bay dark and endless below. I'm not your redemption, Olivia said. I know. I won't belong to you. I know. You still scare me. Adrian's voice lowered. I scare myself when it comes to you." She should have stepped back. Instead, she moved closer. "What do you want, Adrian?" He looked at her as if the answer had cost him everything. "To stand where you can see me. To leave when you ask. To stay if you don't." Her eyes filled. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Olivia reached for his hand. Adrian looked down, stunned by the tenderness he had no right to expect. She laced her fingers through his. Not forgiveness. Not surrender. A beginning. Months later, the burned ruins of the Vale Gallery were transformed into a public foundation for missing women, stolen art recovery, and children who had no one powerful enough to protect them. On opening night, rain fell softly over Pacific Heights. Reporters waited behind velvet ropes. Black SUVs lined the street. Noah stood proudly beside Olivia, wearing a small suit and holding a paper program upside down. Inside the rebuilt atrium, only one painting hung on the main wall. A crooked blue house, a yellow sun, a little girl holding her mother's hand beside the sea. The scars remained visible in gold. Adrian stood beside Olivia as guests whispered through the room. "They'll never understand why you did it," she said. He glanced at the painting, then at her. "I didn't do it for them." Outside, lightning flickered over San Francisco Bay. Inside, Olivia's hand found Adrian's. This time, he did not hesitate to hold on. And when the cameras flashed, the world saw what Adrian Vale had tried so hard to hide. The most feared man in San Francisco had burned a fortune for a woman's broken childhood, but he had rebuilt something far more dangerous in its place. A life where she was no longer forgotten. A love that had survived fire, and a devotion powerful enough to make every enemy watching from the dark understand one thing clearly. Touch Olivia Hart again, and Adrian Vale would not burn a gallery next time. He would burn the whole city down.